Hey guys, we are super excited to talk about the first 3 episodes of Andor in this next episode, but we did want to give a little disclaimer at the top of the episode. There is some sexual violence that is going to be discussed in today's episode, so we wanted to make sure we give you guys a heads up now. So if you don't want to watch this one on YouTube and you don't want to watch or listen to it over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, that is okay. You guys can bow out now. We appreciate you guys coming by, but we did want to make sure you guys got that warning. With that, we're going to hop into the episode. This makes it worth it. This, right now, being with you, being here at the moment you step into the circle. Look at me. You made this decision long ago. The Empire cannot win. You'll never feel right unless you're doing what you can to stop them. You're coming home to yourself. You've become more than your fear. Let that protect you. Cassian Andor to Naya. Welcome to Talk About Tatooine. I'm Andrew.
I'm Nathan.
And we are twin brothers here to bring you what's new and nerddom and give colorful commentary on our favorite subjects. Welcome to our cantina. Grab a drink and settle in as we set course for realities beyond our own.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 113. Today's recording date is the 4th... Sorry, God.
It's 4 something. 4:30 in the afternoon.
What's the 4th month? Today's recording date is April 30th, 2024, and this episode will be released on Monday, May 5th. Today, we're going to be discussing Andor Season 2. Before we hop into that, I just want to say, Edie is the worst. That is all. Good night and good luck, everyone. Episode is over. Cut.
That's all our notes on the first 3 episodes of Andor. Oh, also, happy Revenge of the Sith to the people who listen to our podcast on day 1. Y'all are the real MVPs. What up?
Yeah, what's up? Revenge the 5th, yo.
So 100%, like, this is me predicting the future because I'm a prophet, he said with no confidence. But Sunday, they're probably going to release a ton of trailers, right? At some point, they've have to release the trailers that happened at Star Wars Celebration, and we still haven't seen.
Let us see the whole trailer.
I want to see it.
Give it to me.
Because I'm just a baby. Andor is coming out in 3 episode arcs, so it's almost like they're releasing 4 short movies, which is kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
Episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then episodes 4, 5, and 6 both start off with the exact same thing, which is the Ferrix Anvil, which is heralding the passage of time, because the amount of time between the end of Andor Season 1 and the beginning of Season 2 is a year, which brings us to the year before the Battle of Yavin, or BBY 4. A lot happens in this one.
Yeah. We do have a lot in here. We jump into the formalities of a Chandrillan wedding, which I didn't think we were going to get so much detail on, but I'm here for it. We see our hero attempting some light privacy, and the rest of our rebel cell working hard on a farm on a brand new world. So let's crack this one open and dip it in butter. Oh, and
you said privacy, not piracy.
Piracy?
Nailed it.
God, I got to keep that in. Okay. Because you got me on it. So that's cool. Some light piracy. Man, that totally ruins the little like crab leg joke I had in there and everything. Like crack it open, dip it in butter. Man, that's okay. Also, Cyril and Deidre be banging, playing hide the sausage, doing the domestic dance.
Creating more fascists.
Dude, they're trying to get that extra $5,000 a year, if you know what I'm saying.
That is so problematic.
I'm just saying.
It's
topical. It's topical.
It's no. Listen, in my empire, every new family will get 5,000 galactic credits for every child, assuming they're human. None of those weird alien babies.
You all can't have any.
You can't have it. Now
you're
not
do
each other.
No, do it. Do it.
Oh, you should be proud of that one. That was excellent. Guys, we are going to be moving on to Sayonara. Eagle-eyed fans and really our nerd primes will notice immediately that they will push up their glasses and be like,
actually, Sayonara is the planet that holds on to a lot of imperial manufacturing for weapon systems and aircraft, and it's really important that events are taking place here.
And you're like, oh my God, we know. We're trying to make shorts on it. Leave us alone. So really looking forward to those like 1 or 2 comments. You guys comment on our shorts, but you don't comment on the actual podcast episodes. You
Rude.
need to fix it. Fix it.
Yeah, I sometimes say funny things.
Actually, even though you've never heard of this planet in your entire life, let me tell you why this is really important.
Horrifying. Please don't ever do that anymore for our podcast listeners, because this is also an audio medium. Andrew just forced open his eyes while saying that, and it's horrifying. So please watch us on YouTube as well. But seriously, though, watch us in both places. We love it a lot. So we hop into from Sienar right before Yavin 4. We zoom out and we learn that we're at that testing facility 73. I don't know if there's any significance to the 73, but Cassian's undercover as a test pilot.
The number 73 is significant because if you add up the digits, they equal 10, and 10 is a cool number.
Cool.
Do other people not do that?
Yeah, conspiracy theorists do that, brother.
So, like, if you add this up, it then equals a certain number, which then if you divide by 7, it equals another number, which has a significance to it that I have assigned, and it's very important, and JFK is still alive. And that's essentially how that goes.
There are aliens in Roswell,
Yeah, pretty much.
and Bigfoot still roams the land. He does, though. Low key. Okay. Back on subject. Can we take a second and note that a key part of Andor being able to steal the TIE Avenger was actually getting help from inside? Let's see. If Diego Luna were to ask me to betray my government, I would say, yes, sir. Yes, sir, handsome man.
He has to jump, and I said, I can't jump super well, but I will jump as best I can.
I'll do my best without hurting myself.
No
Seriously, though,
guarantees.
like, so Naya, the Imperial technician, and Andor have like really good back and forth because she's freaking the crap out, and Andor is like, okay, calm, steady, but also like he's in the zone. He knows exactly what he needs to do. Like right before Naya comes in, he like reaches for his weapon when the door opens, and he's like, oh, it's the person I'm here to meet. He does such a good job, and like this like no name person, I mean, she has a name, Naya. We're never gonna see her again. It's so good because she's like, I like working here, but I know that the Empire is bad. She's essentially saying like, I like working at Lockheed Martin because I'm having fun here, but I know they're using our planes to blow up people across the globe. Like I know they're not using these for good purposes, and I have to do something. And I think that's admirable.
Cassian steals this TIE Avenger. Guys, go check out our short on that as well. Immediately starts crashing it into everything. My favorite is, like, again, Andor, great with the subtext, is he is expecting that if he pushes forward, he's going to go forward and he's going to accelerate. And then he pushes forward and it kicks it into reverse.
So stupid.
And he's like this, you can see it on his face. He's like, whoever designed this is a moron. And the fun thing is, you're like,
Oh, that would never happen.
people don't design things like that. And dude, let me tell you what, I work next to the US Army. They design things in the most stupid way possible every single day. I see them do that, and I will look at the soldiers and be like, hey man, why do you guys do it like that? And they say, I don't know, we don't have a better system for this. And I said, shouldn't you do it this way? They're like, I'm just doing what I'm told. And that's about how that goes. So the fact that somebody designed this in a way that does not make any logical sense, you can see it on Cassian's face, and 100% that's what humans do. I loved your note here. Those stormtroopers had families. Because he busts out of that hangar with those dual rotary cannons. And first of all, oh my gosh. Sploosh.
Sploosh.
And they just get destroyed. No chance at survival. And even Cassian's a little like, oh my goodness, did I just commit a war crime? Because I think I did.
To be fair, the Empire designed it. He just stole it.
Yeah, right?
Also, he like vaporizes the missile trooper because like you're like, oh crap, Cassian's gonna die, and then he's like, ooh, what does this button do? And it just atomizes the guy. Just gone. He's dead.
Let me use my biggest weapon on you.
So I want to jump a little bit ahead. In episode 2, one of the rebels, when he crash lands on what we later find out is Yavin 4, correct?
Maybe I actually didn't catch what planet they were on.
At the very end of episode 3, sorry to jump ahead a little bit further, he's like leaving the planet and you see some of the old Masasi Sith temples.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that then. I mean, I'm gonna rewatch all of this anyway, but you know.
Right. So that's episode 3. Back to episode 2, one of the rebel, the Maya Pei brigade rebels, the one of the dumb ones, she's in the cockpit and she yells out, "Everything is reversed." And one of the very first things I wrote down from episode 1 was that the throttle and stick were literally reversed. Like his stick was in his left hand and his throttle is in his right. It doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. The throttle and stick is always throttle left hand, stick right hand.
You would think.
You would think. Literally everything in that TIE Avenger was backwards.
The designer for that is like, I'm going to make it for lefties.
Yeah, lefties who are facing the wrong direction. Lefty southpaws who play inverted. They're going to love it. I also kind of thought it was really interesting. So Sayonara, it makes sense that we actually see more special edition ties because, like, if that's their research and development facility, they're not going to put just regular ties there. And the ties that they had there were the TIE Advanced V1. It's the same ships that the Inquisitors use.
Yes.
Which would later go on to be the TIE Advanced, I think, X1, which is Darth Vader's ship we see in A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just thought that was cool, and they totally get destroyed. Oh, gosh. I also made a funny joke. When Cassian gets to Yavin, he immediately lands and then is subsequently captured. And then I had the thought of, like, somewhere Admiral Akbar sits up in his bed, drenched in sweat, and breathlessly whispers, "It's a trap."
These 15, quote, rebels are so annoying. They did so well on this, and I am so glad Cassian is able to deceive them all. It's great. Episode 1, ends with them shooting each other up. Classic. Some people are so stupid, and they should never be given a weapon. Things that relate back to real life for the 17,000th time in these shows. It's like, oh my gosh, everything is just going to relate back to, like, current 2025 America, and it hurts. Oh, and Yavin is also crawling with huge carnivorous creatures, which we totally know, and some of them are probably also a little bit stained by the dark side. Super fun.
Yeah, they're like, human flesh, delicious. My first note that I physically wrote down in my notebook was child bride equals bad. It's weird and it's gross and it's bad. Like, it's I don't like it. And, like, obviously we're meant to not like it because even Mon Mothma, who went through this process herself, the whole time she's like, but darling, what if you didn't do that? What if you didn't make this horrible mistake and marry another child? Like, it's not good. It's not good.
This is just another version of weaponization of the patriarchy.
I don't know how I feel about the multi-day parties that last more than one day. We don't really have a lot of those in America.
No, we don't.
We really don't. They're like, no, get back to work.
Well, and they noticed that right away because, like, who is it? Is it Tacoma that gets too drunk on the first night and he has to get carted away? And they're like, wow, really rookie move. They're like, you have 3 days of this. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, dude, if I had to party for 3 days, I'd be really taking it easy on the first 2 days. Because I'm like, I have to survive this.
Let's be honest. We all know a lot of people who would be like, oh, unlimited alcohol for 3 days and would go too hard the first night, die, have to be resuscitated, a short stint of rest on the second day, and then be back by the third day doing the whole thing over again. Some people shouldn't be trusted around alcohol or firearms or both at the same, especially both at the same time. So we actually see quite a few people who, especially who are involved in the rebellion, like a lot of them are like excessively drinking. Like Clea is doing the same exact thing. Mon is drinking all the time because they're just like, everything is such a burden right now. Like the rebellion is such a burden, and Mon Mothma has the weight of the rebellion. She has the weight of Tay Kolma, his life has fallen apart, and then she also has her child bride, who her daughter already hates her, but she still loves her daughter. And you can see it just ripping her apart, and it just gets worse and worse and worse as these episodes go on. And I mean, I think you even see it in episode 3, where I watched another podcast where they were doing a review, and they actually noted that Mon Mothma is dancing in the opposite direction of everyone else, because she's like, I don't belong here.
That is something I
Shit.
never would have noticed. Because guess
Yeah, I
what?
don't either.
Dancing makes me uncomfortable. White guy slogan 101.
To the left now, y'all.
But yeah, just so you know, if you're ever entrusted with the secrets of a galactic rebellion, you should probably not get drunk in a crowd of people.
Loose lips sink starships.
We do get a moment where you kind of think that Leia and Mon are bonding, but that kind of goes back and forth between these 3 episodes. So they have their moments of conflict and resolution. So there's a lot of tension still in that relationship, and they are doing a great job with telling that story.
Not to mention that, like, once we get to episode 3, that like Leia totally drops the biggest bomb on Mon, and she, like, it really is kind of obvious. Mon is like, this is never going to work.
Yep.
Like, I'll never have a relationship with my daughter, at least not until her brain fully develops. Like, I don't know.
We asked for more dark and sad things on Star Wars, and we're gonna get it in these episodes. So much so. That being said, let's keep moving on. On Mina Rao, Bix is having PTSD flashbacks of Dr. Gorst. Again, darkness. Super bad. I don't even blame her. Like, dude, she got assaulted by, what is it? The weird sound of these, like, alien creatures being massacred. And they got it on recording.
Of dying alien children.
Yeah. And she's like, oh God, that like really sent me to therapy really quick. And you're like, yeah, it really would. So
Except for she doesn't have access to therapy, so she's just having these PTSD dreams, and you can see her mental state. Like she's spiraling. She's barely holding on.
Yeah.
And then the Empire comes to Mina Rao, and they're like, oh, by the way, we put a communications blackout so you can't talk to any of your friends off world. I'm like, that is such a creepy thing to do. And it felt really weird, and it felt really creepy. And then we saw why.
Oh yeah, she's stressed that she can't contact Cass. I don't blame her. We see on this planet that Brasso, Bix, and Willman are working as field laborers and mechanics, all undocumented, of course. If you don't know about the allusion to visas, if it wasn't obvious enough for you, just saying.
It's really funny watching, funny in a really kind of dark sort of way, of people who hold on to, who have, I would say, fascist and discriminatory political beliefs, being like, hey, wait a minute, my beliefs are being mirrored in the Empire. That's not fair. I don't want to be the bad guy. And it's like, well, you are the bad guy. You voted in a bad guy. And
you've
now
been the bad guy
policies,
since 1940s, so
yeah.
Suck it.
And now, like, his policies are making life a living nightmare for people who don't look like us. Things are not going well. And, like, I will say, silver lining, Brasso is a really good friend. Willman seems like he's still, I would say, emotionally damaged from the death of his father. And we're going to see a little bit more of that in episodes 4, 5, and 6. I don't know if you watched 4, 5, and 6. Okay,
Nope,
I won't say anything.
Well, dude, I literally finished episode 3 before we started recording.
I didn't know if that was a rewatch or not. That was your first viewing?
That was my first. Those tears were real.
Oh, you are fresh off of seeing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
My feelings are feeling a little. I'm feeling my feelings right now, man.
Oh no. This is. I'm so sorry. I sat. We'll get there. Let's move on to a different planet, though, real quick. So we're going to be hopping back and forth a lot. but we move on to a planet that we haven't really seen, but it says it's just at the Mathline Divide. So my opinion and my theory is that this is actually Iriadu, which is the homeworld, I think, of Grand Moff Tarkin. It has some more mountainous regions in it, at least according to the books. Maybe I'm misremembering that, but that's my guess, is that's Iriadu. But and we got Krennic right away.
Oh yeah,
100%. I would have guessed, oh, they're not going to start bringing in Rogue One characters until at least the halfway point. They're like, no, episode 1, here they are. Krennic literally walks up and he's like, all right, everyone turn your phones off. Don't put this in your calendar, and we're going to wipe the memories of your droids. Gorman has oil. I mean, substrate foliated calcite. And he goes on to explain about like, oh, the calcite coats the lenses of this reactor. We can reach unlimited energy.
Yeah.
And we're all like, bull.
Unlimited
It's
energy
like, it's not
to
a-
put into a gun.
Yeah, it's not a reactor to power worlds. It's a reactor powerful enough to destroy worlds. Like, we know what he's talking about. Nobody else in that room knows of Project Stardust. He's just telling them, he's just like, I need their resources. I am going to destroy their planet to do it, and I know that they're going to get upset about it. So how are we going to fix this? That's the whole meeting. They're like, how are we going to destroy a society so that we can mine it for their oil?
I do think it's interesting here how Deidre is. I mean, she tells us right away how awful she is. She's like just an absolute puppet of the Empire. And she's so salty she can't find access. She's like obsessed over it. And her director's like, you need to drop this because you have not seen results and it's going to compromise you if you keep moving forward with this.
Yeah, not to mention, like, Dedra is such a devious person that even though she has had failure after failure, basically a year's worth of failure to find access, that Krennic walked up to her personally and was like, I want your idea. I want your idea, and you're going to lead my efforts on Gorman. Like she's so, like, she has such a, I don't know, I don't want to say stellar, but she's so evil and she's so successful in so many areas of her career that even with her failure of access, Krennic is like, I'm picking you.
Yeah.
Or it's just because Krennic is a loser and that could be part of it.
Yeah. Then we move into episode 2. Andrew, give us some notes on that.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so this episode is called Sigrona Tima. Sorry, I didn't mean to roll that R. Sigrona Tima. They don't roll the R on Chandrila. But we cut back to Cass. This entire group of rebels is trying to figure out how this massive TIE fighter works. They can't figure it out. And Cassian figured it out in like a couple minutes.
He's like, everything's backwards. It's all the same, but it's backwards.
Yeah. And I think at this point, the rebel group has splintered because one rebel called another rebel a name and he shot her over it.
This is essentially what would happen if you gave children weapons and they were like, we're going to shoot each other. And then it's like a paintball match gone wrong. And you're like, oh, why did the kindergarten class all come back with green welts on their bodies? You're like, oh, yeah, because one of the teachers gave them paintball guns and said, go figure out all your problems on your own. That's essentially what adults still do.
And like, you can tell the rebels, at least these rebels, are super inexperienced. One, because they're all super young. They're crazy young. They're filled with this fire inside. They're all hungry. Like, it's like they're a powder keg waiting to go off, and they eventually do. Like, they shoot themselves up. The lady who he shoots, like, her body gets eaten by animals. But like, everything they do is so stupid and inept. The entire time Cassian is like, I'm going to manipulate everyone here because I am the smartest person in the room. And I don't know if you noticed, but when group number 1 is in the TIE Avenger and they fire the Gatling laser, all of the rebels around Cassian hit the dirt except for Cassian.
Yeah.
He's like, I know that's not going to hit me. I'm still not happy it happened because you all are so stupid. But he's like, I am the smartest person here by a lot. And it's not like it's not like Cassian is like this Sherlock Holmes level of intelligence. He's just a regular smart dude who uses critical thinking skills. He thinks of what's important. He's the only reason some of these rebels even survive is because Cassian's like, hey, you guys need to drink water, dummies. You need to drink
like
water.
sitting there like drinking water. Yeah, like catching the drops.
Gosh. So everyone's going bananas because they're eating moldy food, those nasty ass lemons. Ugh. And they don't have any rations. They're not collecting water. And they're like, oh, like everything's just getting worse and worse and worse. And then the weirdest part about it had to be that they decided everything over a game of rock, paper, scissors. Like, right? That's what that was.
Scissors.
Space, rock, paper, scissors. What would they call it? Asteroid, datapad, and vibroblade? I don't know.
Yeah, beats me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how. Well, I know how. So Cassian knew that there was a gun squirreled away because he probably hid it there. And I feel bad for Porco, not only because his name is really unfortunate, but also like we don't even get to meet him. And this group of essentially wandering savages is just like walking around like on their knuckles like Neanderthals, like danger, kukunk. And they kill him.
Yeah, it's not great.
They're like, he shot at us first. It's like, yeah, because you're a threat. It's like, we're not a threat. We just killed him. It's like, what? Say that again, but slower.
Yeah. At this point, I expected very little from these rebels. It's really hard to watch all the paranoia and incompetence mix so easily here. I mean, they get to the point where they're trying to manually spin the ship, which weighs like probably several thousand pounds. And there's like a couple of them and they're pulling on it. And they're like, well, if we move it 5 centimeters every hour, we'll get there by midnight. And I'm like, hey guys, come in close to the corner of people who don't want to get shot. They can move. So move it all you want. They could just step to the left. And that's essentially what they could happen. So just the whole
you're
scene.
Totally right.
Oh. And I'm like, first of all, you guys are like setting yourselves up for disaster here. It's incredibly labor intensive. It opens them up to other dangers while they're being distracted and they're tired, and they could have easily gotten themselves hurt, which when you are in a survival situation, you want to minimize the activities. Essentially you want to minimize the risk of yourself being injured because you probably don't have good first aid. Injuries come with infections take a long time to cure, and you're probably going to die. That is just what it is. And if they're exhausted, what if they were like, hey guys, it's 11:45, they've got about 5 more centimeters before they shoot us to death. Should we go ambush them with our weapons? And since we've been napping all day, like, let's go do that. And then they would just be like, pew pew. And they'd be like, we can't move our arms. I'm so tired from moving a TIE fighter with our hands. It's so dumb.
So stupid. Everything about this group of rebels has to be the dumbest thing possible. And like, I'm like, this is, you know what? I have some very rude thoughts, and I'm honestly just going to keep them to myself.
I'm going to bottle them up, and then someday I'll die.
Excellent John Mulaney quote. Oh gosh, what else happens in episode 2? It's kind of, they're all a blur. They're all a blur because it's 1, 2, and 3 are one, I would say, cohesive story. Oh, also in 2, the Empire has shown up for an audit on the planet, and they're like, hey, we're here to audit your farm, as they roll up in these floating technicals with these giant ass laser guns on top. They're like, can you show us your spreadsheets? Also, are any of your women attractive and available? And you're like, okay, creep.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, that
guys
officer, we're going to talk about that officer some more, but I mean, he gives off creep vibes immediately. I feel bad for the guy who had to act that, because he's like, hey, I'm so sorry.
I hope he'd said sorry. It's like,
he's
hey,
like,
I know this isn't real, but
pulls her aside before the scene. Hey, you know how you were supposed to pretend hit me with everything? I'm going to need you to do me the moral favor and actually hit me in the face. I don't feel good about this, and I need punishment. Just roll with it. I will not blame you. And then just boom, gets clocked, and he's like, oh my god, thank you.
Thank you. He when he's falling, he actually aims for the box.
This will absolve me.
Father, forgive me, for I have thinned.
Thunk.
Oh,
Anyways,
my
we're going to
gosh.
get right into episode 3, Harvest. Things are really starting to heat up here. We get into the wedding at its climax. And
Oh.
guess who shows up? I said it at the beginning of the episode. Edie's back. Ugh. And they're doing
She's not
this.
at the wedding. She's
not. The wedding is happening on Chandrilla, but it keeps cutting back and forth to all these different storylines. And Cyril's hosting her for dinner. It's like hey, do you want to meet my mom? She's a psychopath. You know all the weird things I do? It's because of her. And she basically says all that too.
Well, if it wasn't for me,
Me and
Cyril
Uncle
would've-
Harlow.
he totally would have turned out to be a weirdo.
Which you're like, you didn't do him any favors. He's still a weirdo. So again,
Yeah,
all
no question
weird.
about nature or nurture on that one.
right? And then we cut back to the agri world, and like the Empire is checking everyone's visas. I'm like, are you serious? This is just, the Disney execs were like, yeah, so we're going to put ice into our TV show, right? And they're like,
Yep.
yeah, why not?
100%.
What are they going to do? Deport us to El Salvador?
And it's not subtle.
It's
so
not
at this
subtle.
point, I think we even said in season 1, we're like, hey, the symbolism and the message in Andor is not meant to be subtle, and somehow they got less subtle. And I think that's probably because like the writers are thinking like, listen, the people who are sticking around and who actually love this show are people who agree with the message that we got, and the people who didn't get it the first time need to know the second time. They're like, this is you, because they literally spell it out. They're like, Mina Rao needs to harvest this wheat because it's an agro world. Probably the entire surface, I'm assuming, is covered in wheat, and like they need it for their economy. They need it to feed the galaxy, and there's not enough workers. So these people who are undocumented show up to do the work. That is literally the American farming system.
Oh, 100%.
It's one for one. It's like and then Space Ice shows up and it's like, you guys are undocumented. And like, so they already talk like right away. They're like, over in the 500 block or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, they killed a guy because he ran. Like they just killed him. Like the Empire's disregard for life. Like I would say human life, but they hate aliens even more.
I was going to say the only difference between the Empire and the current happenings of the US government is that the Empire's like, no, we love humans. We love all humans. It's just the aliens we don't like and the rebels. So hopefully you're not a human rebel because then we don't value you anymore. And then, the US government's like, hey, are you anything other than a white dude? Yeah, so we got you on a list now. And you're like, cool, great. I cannot wait for all the dumb red hats to get really upset about this. And they're going to be like, Andor got super woke. And I'm like, actually, you guys have been the bad guys the whole time. You just were too dumb enough to realize it.
You're
And
too
Disney
stupid to figure it out. It was about you the whole time.
And the writers had to really put it out in plain sight for you guys. Like the symbolism's obvious to everybody. And if you guys are just now getting it, it all makes sense with your current intelligence levels. Ugh.
Oh man, yeah, I'm laughing so the pain doesn't come through.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, just like in season 1, we start to see some of these plot lines start to thicken and like start to really kind of accelerate out of control. Even the pacing between these. I mean, you're getting like a cut, like I swear every 10 seconds. We get the really problematic scene with Bix, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. I'm screaming at my TV at this point because the officer comes back basically by himself with like a lower enlisted man. He's like, hey, you're going to drive me to this place and you're not going to say a single word. And I'm going to go have a chat. And the whole time I'm like, no way are they going to do this. I was like, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. And Andrew, you have a lot of notes on this, so I'd actually love it if you would share these, please.
Yeah. So the scene we've been kind of alluding to is when the Imperial officer tries to rape Bix. That is what he does. He goes into her home. He tells her, I know you're undocumented. I have all the advantage here. I am bigger than you. I am stronger than you. I have the legal authority to be here. Again, we're making the distinction between what is legal and what is moral. And Star Wars is clearly showing that those are not the same thing. And he attempts to sexually assault her. And as if Bix didn't have a tragic enough story already. She's already barely conscious and barely sane from her torture under Dr. Gorst, and now this. Like, from the end of season 1, we do not see her recover. We just have to assume that she has come back to a state where she can somewhat be a normal human. Like, torture is like torture bad. Torture bad.
Oh yeah.
And then this happens. The show Andor is showing us an uncomfortable truth about how people, usually men, people in power treat those below them, usually women. This is a truth about war that is never talked about, and now we have to talk about it. There's a lot of chatter in the social media sphere about this specific issue and about the attempted rape of Bix, and a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot, some people are saying that this scene should not be in this episode. They should have not even introduced it in Star Wars. Again, I'm a white dude who I'm more likely to be the perpetrator, not the victim. So I understand kind of where this is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to share some stats with you, but also my thoughts as well. This is an ugly truth. I personally think it does belong because, but I would have appreciated a content warning. I think that's my only caveat. Those who have experienced this trauma should have at least had a heads up and maybe an option to skip it. And maybe it did come up in the rating and I just didn't see it. But like, it's a Star Wars show. I'm not looking at the rating.
Yeah.
Like, Star Wars doesn't really have any rated R or TVMA. And thankfully it doesn't get to that level of
Graphic content.
Graphic content. Thank you. It's still viscerally uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the people who are uncomfortable by this, I'm not talking about the people who potentially were triggered by this because of their own past experiences. Again, I do believe that those people should have maybe at least had a warning and the option to skip it. Kind of like in the airport scene in Modern Warfare 2, where it gives you a pretty stern warning. You're like, hey, you might want to skip this.
You're about to do a bad thing.
It
lets you skip it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is going to challenge a lot of people. But I think that growth is good. I think it's going to be a growing opportunity because it's going to bring you to light that these things do in fact happen, and we have to deal with it, not only as like recovering from it and how we care for the people who are the victims, but creating a culture to prevent sexual assault from happening in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really what needs to happen is like, if you need an example of what complicity looks like, Andor gives us one in the fact that his driver 100% knows what his captain is doing, knows what his superior officer is doing.
Oh, yeah.
He should have
100%.
shot him in the back or something. He should have stunned him, dragged him away and written him up or something. Right. And like, when Bix calls out saying like, he tried to rape me, and the driver is like, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. That's complicity. If you get to that point where you're like, well, it doesn't matter, like you hit him with a hammer, and it's like, we're past that point. It's like, and it's the idea that these people who are complicit or even benefiting off of the system of oppressing other people have no desire to change that system.
Right.
So in the end, it's probably the best that both of them get killed. Just going to say it.
Yep.
Like, everyone has the right to life. And if you take that right from somebody else, you yourself do not deserve it. It's my opinion. Learning about others' suffering makes you a better, more compassionate person. And I think that's really important. And also the "my husband will be home soon" line is something that a lot of women have had to use. And us being gigantic dudes, we obviously are on the flip side of that coin.
Oh, yeah.
I did want to share some stats that I pulled from. This is from the National Sexual Violence Resource Center. This is some statistics. 1 in 5 women in the United States experience completed or attempted rape during their lifetime. Nearly a quarter of men in the U.S. experience some form of contact sexual violence in their lifetime. Nationwide, 81% of women and 43% of men reported experiencing some form of sexual harassment and or assault in their lifetime. 1 in 3 female victims of completed or attempted rape experience it for the first time between ages 11 and 17. About 1 in 4 male victims, it's the same age range, 11 and 17. And it's estimated that approximately 734,630 people were raped, including threatened, attempted, or completed rape in the U.S. in 2018, according to their survey. I could go on. This list does not stop. And what we see is we do see a disparity between women being targets and men being targets. It's not that it doesn't happen to men, but it's more common for women.
Mm-hmm.
So that and that is useful information for us to know. It is useful information for me as a man to know that women are more on guard than we are.
Yep.
You know?
Well, and we also have the privilege of being giants.
Yes, we are. I'm a big dude. People look at me and don't mess with me. For better or for worse. They have no idea how low my endurance actually is. But
sorry, we're talking about serious things.
But I'm 6'3" barefoot. I'm very heavy, and needless to say, I've never had a bully. I'm more likely to have been the bully. Who's gonna mess with me?
Well, and there was 2 of us, so
Yeah, and there's 2 of us, so it's okay, maybe don't do that. But you guys kind of get where we're coming from. It's an important topic to talk about, and I think it's good that Star Wars brought it up because everyone knows what Star Wars is. This topic is now gonna be put into the public eye when I think things are going in a really bad direction politically, and there are going to be more and more people who are abusing their power. And if we are going to be a net positive good for the world and our impact in it, we need to watch out for terrible, awful, disgusting people who perpetrate these crimes and use their power to subjugate other people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we get to the point where, this guy, I'm literally typing out notes while I'm watching this, and I'm just this guy's the worst. I hope he gets shot in the dick. I hope he takes a blaster shot from his buddy and just boom, blows off his junk. That would be some poetic justice there. However, he does get his head bashed on that box pretty good, so that was a little bit better. Now, here's I'll keep my notes a little bit short. When we had this obvious foreshadowing in the previous episode in the attempted rape in episode 3, we see an uncomfortable, violent truth about the world, saying this doesn't belong in Star Wars, while the rest of the show displays people trying to stand up for a tyrannical government, the forces of power consolidating power to themselves, giving themselves to enact the martial law, and so much more. Here's what I'm trying to get to. People are trying to stand up to those systems of power. Star Wars has always been a reflection of what we see in society and what we have to do to fight against those evils. Straight up. If this scene makes you uncomfortable, good. Stay uncomfortable. Not triggered. Not talking about the people who have experienced this before. The people who have not, and this makes you uncomfortable. Stay uncomfortable and remember that if you don't like what's happening in the media, you should have the same venom in your heart when this happens to your sister, coworker, neighbor, and friend.
Yep.
Channel 100%. That in an
100%.
appropriate way. This is not Disney being woke. This is them reflecting what happens in society. The current generation of men, including those our age, are the exact people who would be abusing this type of power in this way. We see it in our police, our clergy, and our positions of power all over the US and the world. Even our president is an abuser, but that has been deemed acceptable for some reason. Being uncomfortable is okay. It is more important for you to know that this type of behavior is unacceptable and will be met with justice for its victims. We finish out this episode with some pretty intense cuts between the wedding, Cassian, and the harvest, and Cassian makes it back to the agri world, and we see a very tragic ending for our friend. which I watched right before this, and I was like, why didn't anybody tell me? With Brasso apparently being dead. I haven't watched 4, 5, and 6. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
He is 100% dead.
So big one there.
There-
It was a
there's-
roller coaster of 3 episodes.
I don't think there's a single arc that happens in these episodes that ends with a happy ending. I mean, even we see like right before Mon Mothma is talking to her daughter about when she's about to like walk down their aisle and do that kind of creepy wedding ceremony. I mean, it's probably could chalk it up to it's different and I don't like it. But like it's a little weird. It's a little, I think it's meant to be weird. But the devastating conversation between Mon and her daughter Lita, where first Mon spills her heart to her daughter, saying, "None of this matters. Like you can leave right now if you want to," and she's basically pleading with her. Like I have seen just a sliver of almost like indecision or regret or oh my gosh, should I go through with this? And Mon tries to kind of open that crack and like speak to the heart of her daughter, who really has this like hardened heart towards her mother. And she's like, please don't do this. She's basically saying like, I'm not happy in my marriage. You're not going to be happy in your marriage. None of this is even real. Like none of this matters. Like, and if you just decide to basically destroy this entire event by calling it off at the very last second, no one's going to care. Like they're going to call you brave. I'm going to be there for you. And like, and then she talks about her own experience about how like her mother was basically drunk off her the whole time because her mother was like, I don't want to have to deal with a child wedding, like my child getting married at 14. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to drown my sorrows in booze. And at this point, Mon Mothma is stone cold sober. And then Lita just turns to her and says like, I wish you were drunk.
For her, that would be easier to process if she had been drinking. She's
Just-
like, oh, that makes sense. Like, hey, my mom said something shitty to me before I walked down the aisle. But it's kind of excusable because she had been drinking. But she's like, nope, mom said that sober.
Yep.
Cool. Have to deal with that now.
It broke my heart because she has to face the fact that her daughter is choosing these customs over her.
Yeah.
She's essentially saying, Mom, I don't trust you. I'm going to do what I want. And I wish you would just shut the fuck up. And at this point, Mon, like, it really kind of takes it in stride because she's a very strong person. And we are really going to see the power and the character of Mon Mothma moving forward through all of her pain. Essentially, she's like, fine, you want it this way? Like, our society is going to treat you like an adult, and I'm going to let you make this decision like the adult you are.
Yeah.
And she says, stand behind me, as is our way. I think Mon has completely given up on that relationship. She said, this is gone. Like, she's gone.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart.
These episodes were an emotional roller coaster. I mean, we've asked for this. Like, we've asked Disney to be a little bit darker in their storytelling, and they're just straight up going for it. They're like, we have something really, really good here to tell really, really good stories, and they're absolutely going for it. I think they nailed these first 3 episodes. I've never found a wedding in a TV show to be more interesting than this. So I'm like, I think they're on the right track here. I think this is going to be a great season 2. Episodes 1, 2, and 3 have been an absolute fantastic start so far.
Yeah. In a way where it's like, this is fantastic, but I'm really, really sad.
But that's good.
So,
I mean, a good show makes you feel things.
The biggest disappointment for me was Brasso dying.
That was
Because
heartbreaking.
How often did we say in season 1, find yourself a friend like Brasso?
So many times. You're like, you should be like Brasso.
You should be like Brasso.
BLB, my friend. Be like
Yeah.
Brasso. And
like
he gets
Brasso.
shot. The whole time he's getting shot at, I'm like, hey man, make a left turn. Like, just turn, make it harder for them to shoot at you. Like, go perpendicular to where you're currently going. I was just like, wow, I can't believe. And then it's just, yeah, it's tough.
Well,
It's tough to
and
watch.
you see the one stormtrooper like really take aim, because I think maybe like the whole thing with stormtrooper aim is that they're just like, hey, we're just going for volume of fire, we're not really aiming all that well. And this guy's like, no, I want to put a notch in my E11 blaster rifle. I'm taking this guy down. And you
You do get to see that scene of him zooming in.
and
Focusing it.
it really, it's such, without actually seeing Brasso fall, it was so emotional because it really was, is he or isn't he dead, until the very last second. And to see Cassian embrace him and not be able to bring him with him, because like Brasso was always there for him from the very beginning in season 1. Cassian comes back to Ferrix and was like, I'm in a lot of trouble, and Brasso immediately has his back. He moved off world for him.
Yeah.
He
was part of the cause the whole time.
Yeah, he carried Marva's funeral stone. He said, I will be in your place. Like I will, like, I know you cannot be in this funeral parade. I will do it for you. And there's no one better. There's no one better to hold Marva's funeral stone than Brasso.
Absolutely. All right, guys. With that, we do not have any Nerdum news for you guys here today. So we just wanted to throw out a thank you to our patrons, Mike, Isaac, and David. Guys, please consider supporting us over on Patreon so we can continue doing this podcast. We do not make a lot of money from this, and we want to do cool things. So please consider supporting us over there, where you guys do get access to our Discord server, extra VIP content, discount codes for Etsy store, and get to join in on all the fun over there. If you guys can't pay to support, please watch our videos. Write us a 5-star review, like, comment, subscribe over on Facebook, YouTube. That means the world to us, and it seriously does help us quite a bit. Big shout out to all the new people who followed us on TikTok this week. We had a lot of new followers. We're up over 500 for the first time. I mean, we haven't lost any really followers, but like we hit 500, and that was a really cool milestone. So thank you guys so much. Until next time, may the force be with you.